Lily, will you tell us something about you? Who are you? What got you started? Where are you from? Of course, that little accent you have to get in there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. When you're from the South, people need to ask you if you're from the South. You will inform them if you're from the South.
Yep,
and of course,
right.
if they ask someone that's not from the South, the joke is that there's no reason to, because there's no need to embarrass them, right?
Yeah.
Because that just makes them feel bad that they're not from the South, or at least that's what we tell ourselves in Texas. But yeah, so I'm originally from Texas. I grew up there my whole life. I was actually born overseas. My dad was in the military. And so I have like these really great, cool pictures of me in Turkey whenever I was little, and then just Texas for years and years and years. And so I basically just grew up, I don't know, just like a typical extroverted child. My parents wondering if I was going to ever turn out, because I just was like not going to sit still and just a little crazy, but it's good.
Are you the oldest?
I am the oldest.
Okay,
you can probably tell because I'm
yeah,
bossy.
I want to know, because I really
I'm used to taking charge of everything, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's not a leader here. One moment, I'll do it. Let me just brush off my skills here. Yeah.
love it.
It's so true. It's so true. So basically, I was a classic student that the public school system was built for. I come from a family that wasn't wealthy, but I had a high IQ, and I was a high performer. So the school system provided me an avenue to really excel, and it gave me a lot of the adult attention that I needed, and kind of feedback from them and praise from them to really kind of feed my love language. I'm an affirmation girl, so I really needed that.
Yeah.
And so I always tell everybody, say, I love, that the school system provided me what I needed. But when my kids got into school and started having they both have high IQs, but they're both special needs. My daughter has severe dyslexia, and my son actually has an autoimmune disorder. Oh, wow. And so he was running fevers all the time. When the school politely pulls you in and says, you need to do homebound schooling, you start going, oh, I guess I'm being dragged toward homeschooling, kicking and screaming. And especially that my sister had actually homeschooled, and her kids are at this point 25-ish, 26, and then 22. So the fun part is I was exposed to homeschooling early on, but I was resistant to it because I thought this is never going to work. So I'd gone to conferences, had heard speakers, and I was like, this is all wrong. Okay.
Interesting.
You're going to mess your kids up. So the sad part is I was completely mistaken. And that is a bad part, because we all like to be right?
Oh, yeah.
So my niece and nephew, as they were growing up, I was waiting for them to fail, and they never did. They just kept getting smarter, and they were so accomplished. They had time for their music and time for their skills and time for all of the many talents that they had. And I was like, wait, they're learning everything they need to know. They can read real good, and they can, do this stuff. And so it's kind of just one of those situations where I think Heavenly Father was pre-preparing me to accept this role for my family. And it took a lot of transition to do it.
Yeah.
So just a little bit about my background as far as I went to college. I received an associate's degree from one school, and then I received a bachelor's degree in accounting from another. And can you guys imagine me being a tax accountant? I scared all the CPAs in the office. But the good news is...
Oh no, there's a lady in pink in my office. What
they
is
were
she
just
doing?
like, what do we do with her? Because they're all in there like, just so quiet and still working for hours. I'd be like, hi. They're like, whoa. Yeah. So it was really good. But however, the partners of the firm really loved it, because they could pull me in and speak, regular English, speak to people about financial topics instead of accountant-ese, which could be very pursuant to Code 4074. Yeah, so it was very, very good. And I really enjoyed it.
It's just shocking to me still.
Like, an extrovert in the tax accounting world. So that tells you I love order, but I also love to embrace the chaos. So there you go. It's complete contradictory. I'm my own best friend and my own worst enemy.
And aren't we all? But man, you're extreme.
It is definitely like the two ends of the spectrum for sure.
Yeah.
But what I love about it is it provided me the skills I need to be a very effective mom and to be a very, very effective homeschool
and efficient.
Mom. Very efficient, which is nice.
Yes.
I feel bad for my kids because they're like, oh man, she's not learning with us. I have very, very clear ways of doing things, and they work. And I think that's what's beautiful. And I love to sit with moms who are struggling. And my way isn't the best way to do things, but I love helping them really figure out what the best way is.
For them.
Tell me your life, and let me tell you what I think will work, and give some suggestions.
Oh, I love
and then
that
they
too.
go, oh, and then they try things. They go, yeah, because we really need to do the things that work the best and are the most successful. Take the least amount of time and give us the best results.
Yeah.
Because we need our kids to like us at the end of the day, not just
And themselves.
unconditionally love us in the long run. That's right.
Yeah.
And themselves. That's
Yeah.
right. We're trying not to be crazed moms, right?
Exactly.
Or dads, for sure. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. So what got you into homeschooling exactly?
Oh my goodness. So my son's health started us on the journey. And we basically came out of the school system and went on to K-12.
Okay.
And I loved it. It was wonderful. Everything was created for me. It was great on the front end.
That accounting part of you was,
I just loved it, right? This is public school, but at home.
Yeah.
This is lovely. But as we went along, they were just learning a lot of things that I felt were unnecessary. And some of the books they were reading I thought were way too old for their age level and for their maturity level. And I thought I'd like to slow that down a little bit. Then the school system kind of has a one-size-fits-all approach. And I'm like, what's the point of being at home if I can't tailor and create this to my kids' needs? So then that's when the real work began. And like all moms, I immediately called up like the 20 people that I know that are wonderful and said, sit with me, I'll buy you lunch, I'll fold your laundry, I'll do your dishes, just tell me all your secrets. And they did. And I thought it was really beautiful because they were so giving and so sharing. And I watched a lot of YouTube videos and looked at people to figure out what my style was. And I realized that my style is a blend of being an extrovert and having some spontaneity and needing things to be structured. And so our core subjects are very, very structured and our electives are very, very spontaneous. And so I like that because we're always working toward those things, and it gives my kids a nice blend because I have one that's one side of my personality and one that's the other. And it's kind of more fair overall, I think, to make it that way. And so it's good. So we basically started with them in 1st and 3rd grade. My daughter begged me to take her with my son because she's like, please don't leave me in there. I won't have anyone to talk to on the playground. And I was like, okay, no problem. And then as we went along, my son's health began to improve around 12 years old. And my daughter was having severe reading problems. We would learn things and then they would be unlearned. And she would tie her shoe and then 2 days later couldn't tie her shoe. And I thought, what in the world? And through the homeschool community, I met a beautiful lady, Amanda Bradshaw, who helped me pull together all of the information I need to realize my daughter's dyslexic, so we got her tested. So we really started for my son, but have continued for my daughter. And every year I allow my children to pray and determine for themselves that they want to continue being homeschooled. Because in 10th and 8th grade, it's really their decision. And again, we don't take any funding, so I do all the curriculum research and stuff myself. I pull all the resources together. I call my husband the corporate sponsor, like he funds everything. And so my accountability is really to make sure that he feels like the money that we're spending is worthwhile and that we are doing the best resources for our children and we're buying the best things that money can buy. And a lot of times the criticism that we receive, I look at them and say, but wouldn't you love a situation where someone's able to go and find the very, very best, for someone and do what's the very, very, and they're like, whoa, and money's not an object and time isn't an object. And, I'm not beholden to anyone telling me how to do things. And I feel like what I'm turning out when everyone praises my kids for being polite and for being reliable, those compliments are far beyond academics. And they're the ones that matter to me. And so my kids, when people tell me that my kids are smart, that's wonderful. But when I'm told that they're polite or they're reliable, they get a bonus because that's what I want. I want you to be that person.
Interesting that you brought it back to affirmations. Right?
Always.
So you're always starting
my
with
love
that
language. That's right, my love language, right?
And now receiving them as your children are growing.
That's right. So I love that because it's important that they see those things too. And my kids' love languages are very different. And so in making sure that we can incorporate that in the way that they learn as well. And so it's just interesting. Like it's just fun how personalities and love languages and all these things come together to make a really rounded education. And we're able to pull the gospel in the way that we feel it applies or doesn't apply. And I love stopping the kids in the middle of something and saying, how do you think this applies to the gospel? Do you think this matters? Is learning this important in the eternal scheme of things? How so? And having them find the purpose in it or find the lesson or find whatever. Because when they do, again, there's the paradigm shift. So they go, oh, epiphany, wonderful moment. And then they're brilliant. And quite frankly, we need them to be brilliant.
And they need to feel that way.
They do.
Whether it's your aha that you've had years before
they need the wins.
They need that.
They need the wins. That's right. You can't live on my aha moments forever. You got to have your own.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
So I want to ask you a personal question.
Yes.
But it's about your children and how do you teach them to follow the Spirit?
Oh my goodness. That is a good question. And it's a hard one because it's a process. I mean, truly it's a process. I think the biggest thing in our family is just trying to make sure that we have the regular family scripture and family prayer so that we're creating an environment where they feel a difference. And I think that's the number one, is they have to feel the contrast. We're not trying to take them down to local bars and walking them in the door. We're in Utah County. It's kind of hard. So many things here are kind of naturally built to honor families and to have things that are good. So they're kind of an environment where it's not as obvious. Where I grew up, kind of living in a very scary part of town. So it was really easy to feel the difference between seminary and school. It was like, heaven and Hades sometimes. So yeah, it was really difficult there. Yeah. But for my kids, I think it's about really picking those key moments and having them express. Let us know when you think you're feeling the Spirit. Tell us what it's like. What are you feeling? How does Heavenly Father speak to you? And really being open-ended with it so they have a chance to really come forward and begin. Because I always got nervous whenever I look at people and go, you should be feeling the Spirit right now. The Spirit is here in this room. Because they may not be, and they're like, oh, I'm broken. Something's wrong with me. So I'm always careful to say, right now I'm feeling the Spirit. And this is how the Spirit feels whenever I feel it. And how I know that Heavenly Father is speaking to me. And I'm not usually a testimony crier or a feel the Spirit crier. I'm more of it makes me energized. But my husband is more sentimental. And he feels, the Spirit very directly and very deeply. And it usually makes him more emotional about things. So the kids have seen a couple different styles. And the biggest thing is having them have something that they're praying about. And then having them journal or having them come back to the family report. Are you feeling anything? Are you receiving an answer? What thoughts are going through your mind? Do you think those thoughts are coming from you? Let's put them against the tests in the scriptures, the litmus tests. Does it invite to do good? Is it something that Heavenly Father would ask you to do? Is it asking you to do things that are not in alignment with what Heavenly Father? So let's go over those things and say, is this something that, you might be thinking of? And just sharing those things and having other people when they come to our home asking them, how do you feel the Spirit? And have them tell the kids, which I love, because then the kids go, whoa, everyone's so different. But the biggest thing for us is if they receive an answer, having them write it down and seeing the outcome of it and writing it down. And then every once in a while, have them pull that out and review it, because that's a powerful. And I'm not good at that. My husband is brilliant at it, so I'm learning, and I love it because there's been a moment that my son goes, "Mom, you have a real weakness at this." I'm like, "Yeah," because he's like, "Mom, you have all these spiritual experiences, but you have a good memory." And so I had a photographic memory in the past, so I can remember them really easily. Well, that's gone now. I have a semi-photographic memory, so I'm having to write things down. So I'm learning alongside my children, which helps them be more committed. Like, Mom's having to do this too. Because Dad's brilliant at this. Which also makes them see how great their dad is, that he does these things so naturally that we're learning. So I love it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful. All right, so you're making me just want to ask you 100 questions, but I want to know, since you're an extrovert and you love parties and you love to things like this, how do you celebrate with your family? Like, how do you celebrate their learning? Are there specific things that you do with your children?
I think the biggest thing for me is, and again, as an extrovert, I love people, love them. But I feel like it's not enough to love people. They have to like you. And so at the end of the day, I want my kids to like me. I mean, yes, they love me. It's not, they don't have to like everything that I do, because obviously as parents, we have to make hard decisions. But what I really want from them is I want to find out what they value. And I want to make sure that when we celebrate, it hits their value structure. So the perfect example is when we go on a vacation, I make sure that everybody has something that they want out of the vacation, and we make sure they get it. Because then when we all come back, there's nobody that's like, well, it was an okay vacation. Everybody's like, that was the best vacation ever. Because we hit something that they each want. So for me, a lot of it is really finding out what they want. And what they want. My daughter is a quality time person. She just wants, Mom, I want a one-on-one date with you to go to the place that I want to go. Great. I would do that anyway, but for her, it's extra special, so we make it even larger. My son wants a group of friends over to do what they want to do because he's 15. And so we do a special night. I host pizza. I have all the junk food they love. I make sure that we have all the games they like and the things they want to do. And I make sure that it all flows and it keeps going, and I'm hostessing it and they love it. So really it's about us finding out what they want and how to make sure that the reward feels like a reward to them. Likewise, I have no problem asking for what I need too. When we celebrate a win for me, then I make sure that it's what I want, which is I want a quality shared experience in which you tell me that you like me. So yeah.
Gotta get that affirmation.
Write me a note in which you tell me the things you like, and don't buy me anything. I do not need stuff. So it's good. But I think at the end of the day, they do look a lot like parties, though. Just at our house, it'll look like,
now that's so shocking.
Imagine that with all the accoutrements, all the works. So all the Southern works, especially. So there you go. Awesome. Good. Wonderful.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I have loved getting to know you better and really grateful to have you teach me.
Oh, I'm grateful for all the things I learned today. It was lovely.
To subscribe to our YouTube channel, click here. To choose from our gifts and request updates on our most popular topics, visit calledtolearn.com. For more videos like this one, click this playlist. For Table Talk discussions, choose this playlist.